Hi, fifth grade. This is Miss J coming to you today with grammar. Today is Thursday, April 9th. Before we get started, make sure you have scratch paper and a writing utensil out in front of you. You should also have your grammar open in another tab. As we are working throughout this video, make sure that you are listening closely for the secret code. Now, let's review a little bit about what we discussed yesterday in yesterday's grammar lesson. In yesterday's grammar lesson, we went over rules that we apply when adding in commas in a series. Think about what were the two rules that you discussed. So the first rule was commas separate a list of items or a series of items. Number two, the comma goes after each separate item in the series. It tells the reader when to pause. Now we know that a series is a list that refers to a list of three or more words or phrases in a sentence. Now let's jump into the practice. The sentences below include many punctuation mistakes. Correct the mistakes by adding or crossing out commas. Now I want you to think back about the strategies you were using in yesterday's lesson. I want you to apply that strategy to practice problems 1 through 4. So go ahead and pause the video here and jump into those practice problems, and then we'll go over it together. Welcome back. So let's jump into our first 4 practice problems. Our first sentence reads, please place all glass, plastic, and metal containers in the correct recycling bin. Let's go over our practice problems using the strategies that we used yesterday. So, reading the sentence, what is our subject? That's right, our subject is containers. Now, what are the items that are describing the containers? You got it, glass, plastic, and metal. Now, the way that we're reading the sentence now doesn't really make sense. Now, where would I place my first comma? That's right after glass. My next comma? Right, plastic. So my sentence should look like this. Please place all glass, plastic, and metal containers in the correct recycling bin. Remember, the commas are letting us know when to pause. Sentence number 2. Garbage pickup in East Boston is on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. So think about what our subject is. That's right, pickup. What are the items that are in a series that are describing the pickup? That's right, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. How can I add in my commas to show my items in a series? Yep, Mondays and Wednesdays. So my sentence should look like this. So now that we've went over those strategies, I want you to look at your work for questions 3 and 4 and revise it. So for our second part of our practice work, we're going to create one sentence by combining the words and ideas that are listed. Make sure to add commas when combining ideas or words. Number 5. Tall maple trees grow on Snowy Hill. Tall oak and walnut trees grow there too. So now let's think about what will be our subject of our sentence. That's correct. Snowy Hill. What is the sentence explaining about our subject? That Snowy Hill has tall maple trees, tall oak, and walnut trees that grow there. Now remember, when creating our sentence, two things that you can remember and apply are that commas are placed after each word or phrase in the series, except the last word. Also, a conjunction is added before the last word or phrase in the series. What words in this sentence would make sense to be in a series? Right. Tall maple, tall oak, and walnut trees. Those are all similar items that would belong in a series. So, when thinking of how to create your sentence, think about what would make most sense or where would it make the most sense to place your subject. Take a moment to pause to make sure that you complete practice problems 5 through 8. Then we'll come back and go over it together. So, now that you've completed all the rest of the practice problems, let's go over them together. So we kind of talked a little bit about number 5. You've thought about where would it make the most sense to place your subject and which list or which items would make the most sense to put in a series. So you should have came up with something like this. Tall maple, oak, and walnut trees grow on Snowy Hill. Here we made sure that our commas are placed after each word except the last word, and we also added in our conjunction and before the last word or phrase in the series. Awesome. Number 6, we walked around huge stones and fallen logs. We walked around delicate wildflowers. What is our subject here in number 6? Right, wildflowers. What are the words or items in the sentence that are describing the wildflowers? Take a moment to check the rest of your work, revise any mistakes that you've made. If you're still confused, make sure that you reach out to your teachers and ask any clarifying questions. Also, today's secret code is cereal. 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 Again, today's secret code is cereal. Cereal. Make sure that it is in all lowercase letters. So again, if you need any clarification or need any help, make sure you're reaching out to your teachers. Lastly, write your own sentence that includes a series that is separated by commas. Once you created your own sentence and you use the strategies that we talked about in today's lesson, you're going to head over to your exit ticket in Google Classroom and complete it. That's all we have for grammar today. Have a great day, everyone.